HMS Thames was a 32-gun Richmond-class fifth-rate frigate of the Royal Navy built by Henry Adams and launched at Buckler's Hard in 1758. She served in several wars, including for some 4 years in French service after her capture. She was recaptured in 1796 and was broken up in 1803. British service. Thames was commissioned in April 1758. On the 18th of May 1759, she assisted in the capture of the French frigate Arethusa, which was commissioned into the Royal Navy as HMS Arethusa. She was deployed in the Mediterranean from August 1763 and paid off in March 1766 after wartime service. She was repaired and recommissioned in October 1770 for the Falkland Islands dispute. She participated in the Spithead Review of the 22nd of June 1773, and in a mission to Morocco in 1774. Paid off in July 1775. She was recommissioned in August 1776, and then paid off again in September 1782 after wartime service. After several repairs at various times, she was recommissioned under Captain Thomas Trowbridge in June 1790. She was again paid off, repaired and refitted. Capture. At the action of the 24th of October 1793, while sailing to Gibraltar under Captain James Coates, she met Jean-François Tartus-Uranie, off Gascony. In the ensuing engagement she lost her rigging and most of her starboard battery, yet killed Tartu and forced Uranie to disengage. The next day the frigate Carmagnole, under Zachary Alamand, and accompanying vessels captured Thames, which was essentially a defenseless hulk. She was brought into French service as Tamise. French service and recapture. Tamise was entrusted to Captain Jean-Martin Adrien Lemaitre, who ordered some technical improvements. She went for 2 short cruises in the Channel where she succeeded in taking 22 British merchant vessels of various sizes. She also escaped a British squadron that ignored her because of her British construction lines. She was then the Admiral's frigate, repeating orders, in Villaret de Joyeuse's fleet. She was charged with the reconnaissance of Lord Howe's fleet in the morning of the glorious 1st of June 1794. Under the command of Captain Freyton, Tamise took part in the disastrous campaign of Grand Hiver, while still with Villaret Joyeuse's fleet. She also was sent on 3 individual chasing campaigns, making several seizures and taking part in 3 inconclusive individual fights. On the 8th of June 1796, Tamise was cruising with the Tribune in the approaches to the Channel when they encountered the British frigates, Santa Margarita and Unicorn, which chased the 2 French frigates. Unicorn captured Tribune, and Santa Margarita captured Tamise at the action of the 8th of June 1796. The Royal Navy reinstated Tamise under her old name as HMS Thames. British service again. Thames was recommissioned in December 1796 under Captain William Lucan and in June sailed for Jamaica. In April to May 1797 she was caught up in the Spithead and Nore mutinies. However, Lucan managed her well during this period and she was one of the first vessels to sail after the suppression of the mutiny. In the second half of 1797, Thames captured a small barge of 1 gun, name unknown, on the Jamaica station. On the 12th of May 1800, Thames, Clyde and the hired armed cutter Saguaro captured a French chasse marée, name unknown. On the 1st of June, Thames was a part of a squadron detached from Channel Fleet to Quiberon Bay and the Morbihan. On the 4th of June, Thames, Cynthia and some smaller vessels attacked the southwest end of Quiberon where they silenced the forts, which a landing party of troops later destroyed. On the 26th of October, Thames encountered a French privateer at about 9:30 in the morning. Thames pursued her quarry for 5 hours. During the pursuit they came upon a mortarlight, which joined in. The two British vessels finally captured the ship Diable Recaptured some 36 leagues from the Corduan lighthouse. She was armed with 16 6- and 12-pounder guns and had a crew of 150 men. She was only 1 day out of Bordeaux. The Royal Navy took her into service as Imogen. On 26 of the 29th of October, Thames and a mortarlight chased a French letter of marque schooner all day. They finally captured her and found that she had been sailing from Guadeloupe to Bordeaux with a cargo of coffee. She was the schooner Unique. A little over a month later, on the 30th of November, she captured another French privateer in the Bay of Biscay after a 6-hour pursuit. The prize, Active, was armed with 14 6-pounder and 2 brass 12-pounder guns. She had a crew of 137 men, and this was the first day of her first cruise. From her, Captain Lucan learned that in the previous 3 months only 2 British prizes had come into French or Spanish ports, one into Rochelle and one into Passage. The Royal Navy took Active into service as Morgiana. On the 18th of January 1801, Thames captured the French Navy corvette Aurore in the English Channel. Aurore was armed with 16 guns and was under the command of Lieutenant de Vaisseau Charles Gerald. She had as a passenger the governor of Mauritius's aide-de-camp, who was carrying dispatches to the French government there. The Royal Navy took Aurore into service as Choawell. Captain Askew Pafford Hollis took command of Thames in June. On the 5th of July she became becalmed while trying to recall Superb to join the squadron under Rear Admiral Sir James Saumarez. On the 8th of July she observed a Franco-Spanish squadron of 6 sail of the line prepare to sail the next day for Algeciras, and sailed to Gibraltar to warn the admiral. 3 days later Thames was part of Saumarez's squadron, which left Gibraltar to chase Franco-Spanish squadron observed sailing from Algeciras. Thames took a minor part in the subsequent Battle of Algeciras Bay. The engagement resulted in the destruction of 2 first-rates and the capture of a third-rate. In subsequent months, assisted by the sloop of war Culp, which had also participated in the battle, she destroyed a number of the enemy's coasters in the Bay of Estepona. Fate. Thames was paid off in January 1803 and broken up at Woolwich in September.